Sup you beautiful people. Hope you've had a fantastic day. Welcome back to a brand new episode of What If Deku Was Cursed by Death. Being able to see things no one has ever is not great. Izuku is cursed to see things he doesn't want to have anything to do with. He never asked to be champion of death, but he's stuck with the title. So he's cursed, quirkless, the main target of a murder, and going to become a hero no matter what. Wait, a target? Well, that's nice to know. Let's just add villains into the fray. If you guys enjoyed this what if, comment down below and let me know. And go ahead and check out other what ifs in the channel after watching this video. Don't forget to shower some appreciation onto the incredible author responsible for this fanfiction. The link is conveniently waiting for you in the description box down below. Before we get into it though, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and also share this video with your friends. So let's start this video. So you can see when someone is going to die, you can see these things called ghouls, and you can see the Grim Reaper. The disbelief in his voice tells him enough. Izuku shakes his head, wringing his hands. He really doesn't like this. Not at all. The look he earns it's telling him that he made a mistake. He shouldn't have said anything. He should have kept his mouth closed and never have told Recovery Girl. Trusting teachers never got him anywhere, so why did he think this would be any different? You don't believe me, he mutters. He pushes his curls away from his face and puts on his glasses. I knew you wouldn't. He moved to get up, but a glare keeps him from standing. He takes a breath and waits for his teacher to say what he needs to say. Oz always stares at the boy problem child. He isn't sure how to take this at all. Izuku has been seeing these creatures since he can remember. How can one even know how to respond to such a revelation? No wonder the kid hasn't said anything. He knows that no one would ever believe him. It's not that I don't believe you, but it's difficult to wrap my mind around it. The words aren't what he expected. He didn't expect him to say that. Your eyes, they've been cursed by the Grim Reaper. Why? Like I said, I'm not sure. I have a feeling that Death thought it was doing a good thing. They always tell me to accept the gift they gave me, and that gift is my eyes. He sighs and looks at Shota, unsure of what to say. He sighs and glances to the corner of the room, staring at Beetle, glaring at him when he grins at him. His face in general annoys him along with his personality. It reminds him of his class all put into one body. He can handle them individually, but put together it's fucking annoying. It's not a bad thing. I get to try and help people before something bad happens, but even I can't stop death. Sometimes I change the way the person dies, but other times I can help keep them from dying. I guess, in its own way, it's a gift. Just difficult. They follow his glare and see nothing. What's wrong? Some annoying bug won't leave me alone. Izuku sighs and lays on the bed, staring up at the ceiling. The silence is deafening. No one says anything, and Midoriya is running through everything he had said. He doesn't remember saying something crucial. Something that he believes may be important to his teacher. He sighs again, covering his eyes. Did I tell you that my eyes can never get hurt? No matter what happens, they heal on their own. If they're attacked, a purple mist comes from them and shows the attacker horrifying images that can drive them insane. It's a good thing that I blacked out when Bakugo hurt me. It means that the mists didn't get out and harm his mental stability. He turns to look at Aizawa with those big round green eyes. What's your opinion on the whole matter? How much of that do you believe? He says nothing, worrying the boy. He can see that it isn't impossible for something like this to be. After all, with all the quirks that have been around, something like this doesn't seem to be impossible. It's difficult to wrap his mind around everything. It's difficult to know what to say. He needs time to think about it. He knows that Izuku has trouble trusting people with this. The hesitation and concern that was on his face told him how reluctant he was in wanting to tell him. He was also angry, so that tells a lot. He either had been told never to tell anyone or he had been constantly criticized because of it. You psycho. That's what Bakugo called Midoriya during the test. Does that mean he has tried telling someone else other than us? Did rumors sprout because of that? You should get to class. I'll let you know at the end of the day. It hurts to see the crestfallen expression that he desperately tries to hide behind a facade. He thanks them and leaves. What do you think? Midoriya seems to be quite interesting. That's not all. You've noticed it too, yes. The entire way he acts around people, especially with adults and his peers. Yes. It's concerning. He pushes away his black hair from his face to look at her. Let's wait and see it out. If it doesn't get any better, then I'll step in and try speaking with him. I don't believe that All Might even knows what's going on. That fool is more naive than anyone I've ever met. The underground hero rubs his temple and thanks Recovery Girl for having brought it to his attention. Now he can help the teen. He needs to jot things down, make a plan, and keep an eye on Midoriya. He needs to ask around in 2 weeks, see what they've noticed about him. The teenager arrives home and the first thing he notices is the folded paper on his kitchen table. Frowning at the sight, he moves forward. The first thing he notices is the blood stains. Warning bells go off in his head. He quickly makes his way over to where his mom keeps latex gloves for when she gets a small cut on her hand and puts them on. He unfolds the paper and reads the message. Magazine clippings. Midoriya quickly puts the paper down and grabs his phone. When they pick up, he licks his lips as he stares at the letter. Yes, I think you should come see this. When Tsukauchi arrives, he sees the paper on the table. The first thing he notices is the red stains on it. He pulls on gloves and reads the message. I know who you are. I know what you value the most. I will come back one day. Until then, we'll see each other someday before that day comes. Crimson Artist. They personally targeted Midoriya. Why? Why him? What would they get out of that? This is the second letter that we've received. So after you two meet, they'll start the murders. Dark eyes close and he leans back with a sigh. I can't think of anything. This is getting out of hand. 10 months have gone by. 10 months of blood and tears. How sick can someone be? Human nature. That's all Midoriya gets. He sighs and places his head on the table. Whose blood is that? One of the last victims or maybe a new one? Who knows until a test is ran. All you can do is use this as a piece of evidence. This isn't a show, you will find them in less than 2 days. You're right. Detective, they might be a police officer or someone who knows how to get into the station, and no one will bat an eyelash. Midoriya drums his fingers on the table. No one knows I'm helping with this case other than the police and my mom. That makes sense. The help of this teenager is kept under wraps so no one can target the boy. Now that he is a target, it means someone is working against them. And I can't get away with interviewing them. It'll scare them off. Yet, what if we're dealing with a team? So someone who can access records. It's not hard to hack into them, you can always find a hacker online. A pointed look is given. Sorry. I'm just not sure what one can do. This whole case is frustrating. No evidence. No witnesses. It must be a team. The kidnapper must be police officer, since no one thinks anything bad will happen if they trust them. A friendly face, maybe someone who has helped the victims before. Tsukauchi nods. Let's just hope they don't try anything soon. Let's hope. I'll see you sometime again. I'll call if anything happens, okay? Yes, of course. Have a good night, Midoriya. You too. Have a safe trip home, detective. Once the man leaves, Midoriya sighs and stares at the table. How did they get in my house? Do they have a quirk that allows them to do that? Or what? He shakes his head, yawning. It's late, I can find out later. Arriving in his room, he feels a soft breeze hit his face. The window is open. Izuku deeply frowns, grabbing a knife from one of his drawers. He looks through the room. Nothing. The front door slamming brings him out and finds the small chain swinging. He rushes out and finds no one. Damn it. They were inside the entire time, the detective and I spoke. How did we not notice? He quickly grabs his phone, texts Tsukauchi. Someone was here. They listened to our conversation. Be really careful, they know what we know. Act normal at the station, please. It isn't a few minutes later that he gets an answer. Are you alright? Did you get a visual? No? He pauses for a second. But I believe that the security cameras got at least something. A clue maybe. Tomorrow you can come and check. I doubt that they were dumb enough to forget something like that, but it'll be better safe than sorry. Be safe. Ever since the letter, he has got no contact from Tsukauchi, and Midoriya has a feeling that it has to do with the letter. It's probably best to keep him from the investigation. After that message, Tsukauchi made the right choice in keeping him from doing any more. It's boring, but he has to deal with it. That morning many students are stopped by the paparazzi. Screw them, they're annoying, thinks a few students. Midoriya gets that it's their job and all, but they are annoying as death itself. They don't get how mucin damage they can do, but hey, as long as it pays they'll do anything for a story. He learns this the second when his glass is full when he bumps into one of them, which puts him in a bad mood, having to see the constant stream of corpse ghouls and human ghouls. The way to tell the difference on humans and ghouls, the ghouls have black or purple spiderweb cracking on their neck or one side of their face. It's helpful. Hey kid. One of them yells, trying to get his attention and swiping his glasses. I'll give them back once you answer a question for us. You get them back for an answer. Midoriya looks up, his eyes wide as he stares at them. He makes himself seem small, innocent, and hurt. Why are you so cruel? My eyes are extremely sensitive to light. Thank you, sir, I'm going to have a migraine because of you. And then I don't even have my medication on me. One reporter punches the guy in the ribs. Geez. Do you know how painful migraines can be? Give those back. We're here for answers, not to hurt the kids or lose our jobs, idiot. I didn't know. Well, next time think before you act. Midoriya thanks the woman and takes his glasses back, bidding them a farewell. He meets up with his friends who stare at him. Keep walking and don't ask, please. Yes, my eyes are sensitive, but not to the point I'd get migraines from it. It's fine, Deku. It was rude of that guy to have even done that. Uraraka smiles at him, causing him to think, why is she so innocent and trusting? I don't deserve her as a friend. Upon arriving to the class, Izuku remembers something. It's been a week since Aizawa-sensei found out and he hasn't tried speaking to him, and he doesn't blame him. Something had came up and he couldn't learn what the teacher thought on the matter. It's nerve-wracking not knowing what your own teacher thinks about something you kept a secret for a long time. Now, the teacher comes in and with his monotone voice, he announces, today, you will choose class representatives. This brings a huge freakout for most of the class, whom all yell, that's so normal. It's followed by people who want to be a representative, which leads to an inappropriate comment by the great behind Midoriya. Izuku is stuck in his own thoughts when his phone dings with a text. He looks around and makes sure no one is looking. It's from Tsukauchi, but he doesn't open it. He puts it on silent and hides it away. What poor unfortunate will get that position? We will vote for the representative. That is much easier. Whoever gets the most votes will be suitable to lead. Ah, thank you, Iida. I have a feeling no one will vote for me. After everyone put their votes in, they look at the results. They turn to the shriek from the representative. I'm that poor, unfortunate soul. I knew it. I shouldn't trust my intuition cause it sucks. Why would anyone want to fucking vote for shitty Deku? Gouge out my eyes, please, he mutters, letting his forehead slam against the surface of the desk. Mineta pokes the teenager, earning a groan of misery in response from him. If you want to keep 50% of strength in that hand, I suggest you stop poking me. The two representatives stand in front of the class. Vice Representative is Yaoyorozu Momo, who stares unamused at the greenie who is glaring at the ground, shaking in his shoes. She can't see the emotion in his eyes, which makes it somewhat hard to know what exactly he is feeling. You all are dead to me. Ah, so he hates this position. How vexing, she murmurs, staring at the teen who seems to be so done with the world. Just who would vote for him? He doesn't seem to be a leader type. Maybe in heat of battle, but not like this. He seems to despise being up here. Midoriya sighs, pushing his hair back. I really don't think I'm cut out for this, but whatever, I guess. He shrugs and giving them an unimpressed look while dying on the inside. We'll do our best in representing this class. With that, they head back to their desks. Lunch is not something people can just sit through, and Goofy is he kidding, he sits with his friends, and the three of them are basically goofing off and having fun. They learn more about each other, and everything is all well until the alarm sounds. People freak out and start heading out of the cafeteria in panic. Midoriya is having a difficult time trying to get people to calm down. He looks at Iida and then at Uraraka. Uraraka, use your quirk on Iida and Iida. Get to the front and calm them down. Iida looks towards Uraraka, who is reaching out to the male. Their fingers touch and he floats up using his quirk to get before them. Attention. Everything is fine. There is no villain attack. Some paparazzi must have crossed the line and activated the alarm by accident. Slowly people stop shoving them around and the two on the ground sigh softly. Midoriya smiles. I can get out of this now. Yes. I have the perfect plan now. During class, he says, I have decided to resign from representative and have Iida Tenya take my place. He could do what I could not, and that was to calm everyone down during the panic. Yaoyorozu, are you okay with this? Yes, I'm fine with the decision. Good, he breathes with a relieved smile. Iida. I'll gladly accept. Thank you, Midoriya. I still want to know who voted for me because they're dead to me. Heh, I was one of them. You're my friend, Iida, but you're dead to me. They share a smile and Iida chuckles softly. The day is good. Yet, he knows not everything will remain as peaceful as this. Death would watch and do their job, meaning that they never step into human affairs. If one is destined to die, they die. No one can change it unless they're lucky enough to be able to save them. Humans have always been interesting, have always been curious and always trying to avoid them. The Grim Reaper likes the fact that they have a view of death as cruel and frightening. The young teen, Midoriya Izuku, is the only one that understands death. Maybe that is why he is scared of the Grim Reaper. He is not necessarily scared of dying, but that he knows that the Grim Reaper is merciless, and will do whatever they need to get what they want. Death is greedy. The afterlife is not cruel. The afterlife has nothing to do with what one was during their life. It does not matter if someone is one of the most powerful, they will be treated as nothing but a soul that needs to be taken. Death will do anything to take that soul. While the Phantom of the End does not interfere with human affairs, they choose a champion every now and then. Just like the other beings. Life, fate, coincidence, war, famine, etc. They choose champions that they know will do good in their lives. Since the beginning, they have chosen the right champion every 4 centuries. Since then, death cannot remember a day when they have met such a person. They believe them to be a good person, they don't know how something like this could have happened. They watch as their beloved champion slowly grow darker and darker, slowly become something that death never foresaw. They didn't kill them, no, they could not bring themselves to. They stripped away the title of champion and went on a search for a new one. Not something but the being Fate draws death to the hospital. Once they arrive, Fate turns to the male version of death and explains the situation. Remorse is held in the man's voice as he says, I know you lost her. I know why it was to happen, but I cannot say. The main priority is this boy. Fate points to the baby that is in an incubator fighting for his short life. This boy should become your new champion. The skull moves, seeming to look between the small and recently born human to the immortal being that stands beside him. The raspy voice fills the short silence. Why? A faint smile crosses the male's dark face. Amber eyes slowly flick over to look at the baby, his eyelids crack open and showing pale green eyes. A wide, gummy smile spreads across the baby's face and laughs slightly. Because he can see us. As the man turns, he accidentally hits the now female death with his thick black braided hair. I would have told someone else, but everyone already has a champion. You lost her, didn't you? I didn't even see her becoming like that. The spike in the air is enough to tell the man to drop the matter. He clears his throat. Fate can change, you know. If you ignore this boy, you can change his fate drastically. If you accept this boy, then you'll be setting the right path. Death doesn't speak for long. She taps the glass that separates the human and the being, watching as the boy's eyes stare at her. She tilts her head to the side and waits for a reaction. The baby reaches up, as if wanting to touch the odd-looking figure. She reaches a hand in and watches as the baby curls his fingers around the bone. How? Fate find baby. I found him first, says a newcomer with an Irish accent. A female with long, strawberry red hair, freckles sprayed across her skin. She radiates an aura of warmth and life. I noticed when his eyes landed on me. He's so cute. He will be a hero, but I can tell he'll have hardships. The boy is blind, but even then he can see us. See our world. I have a champion who has 1 more year left, but by that time, this boy would be claimed. Blind. She turns and looks into the eyes of the baby. They're unseeing, yet to see the 3 beings in the room. The boy is in fact blind. Death. New champion. You will take him. They watch as the rotting flesh slowly forms and stitches itself together, her hair slowly growing and thickening. Death's corpse-like appearance changes to reveal a healthy woman with long black hair, light tanned skin. She wears a white dress that show her shoulders and collarbones. Gold necklaces around her neck. I will take the boy as my champion. She turns to the boy, biting down on her thumb to injure it. With the beautiful blood, she draws a symbol of death on the boy's forehead. As the 2 other beings watch, the pale green eyes slowly brighten. The color is the same green of death's eyes. What will he be seeing first? Life asks Fate. The male reminds her of that man in those old Thor movies. What was his name? He had the sword and was able to transport the people. Heimdall. Yes, that's him. The one from Norse mythology. He reminds Life of the actor who played Heimdall. Corpse ghouls. And death won't be able to change it unless he asks her to. Lemurde sighs, pulling her hand away from the boy. Sad. Hope he, like my gift. They smile. While death can be greedy and get what they want, they can't help but notice the way they care for their champions. How can people fear such a being? Life hugs the other female in the room, smiling widely. He will love it. I'm sure. Death never intended to actually regret their decision. They regret choosing this boy to be their champion. If they knew what would have happened, they should have killed their old champion. But in their moment of weakness, the Phantom let the future turn into something darker than what their new champion should go through. Humans are interesting. Humans can be monsters as well as kind people. Hopefully, this world won't make the same mistake as it did with the last champion of death. The class stands outside of a giant dome. A soft breeze ruffles their hair, waiting on their teachers to explain the lesson for today. Prior to being there, they weren't informed of what was going to happen. Only vague details about a small trip for their lesson, and that's it. They were also given permission to use their hero suits or their PE clothes. A few of the students chose to wear their hero suits, while others chose their PE clothes. Izuku is one of the few that is wearing his gym clothes, the strap holding his scythe, and his gloves are the only two things he's wearing from his hero costume. Apparently during the last exercise, Bakugo had burned part of it when he created that huge blast, and well, now he has to wait for the support department to fix it. The dome, as someone in the crowd said, looks like the USJ, Universal Studios Japan. The Pro Hero 13 tries to tell them that it isn't and explains that it's to help train on rescuing. Welcome to the unforeseen simulation joint. The USJ echoes many of the students with unimpressed tones. Albeit that, they're excited for their training exercise. Hopefully, Midoriya keeps the insanity down. They think, it's all in good cheer, but if it can happen, that'll be great. Poor unfortunate souls that don't know what will happen, as they glance at the teen who is smiling at his friends. He seems unaware of the looks he's receiving from his classmates. He just seems to be really naive and happy, so they drop the expression and go about their way. Midoriya waves a bit at one of them and glances at Uraraka, about to say something when the hair on his neck stand on end as a bad feeling comes across him. He believes it's only the ghouls around him, but that doesn't make any sense. He never feels this way when he's around them, so what the heck is going on? Taking a breath, he removes his sunglasses and makes it seem like he's cleaning them with his shirt while in reality, he is scanning the area. Standing a few feet away, he finds Death watching them. Okay, so that is never a good sign. Don't feel safe when Death is around, you only set yourself up for the afterlife. That's something he came up with when he was younger. The thought crosses his mind when he shudders and averts his gaze to the ground, hoping that nothing bad is going to happen. Wishful and futile thinking on his part. Mostly because that never helps him through shit. Best way to show an example is when they enter the dome. The ominous feeling increases by tenfold, forcing him to put his guard up. Izuku. The boy snaps his eyes over to the bringer of the end. Following to where the bony finger points to, Izuku can see corpse and human ghouls pointing at the same place that's in the center of the entire building. They can all see something he can't, but even so, he has a feeling that they're all trying to warn him. There's something that he is missing, but what? Humans. Classmates in danger. Run. His eyes are fixated on that one spot. His gaze doesn't leave it as he inquires, I thought it'll only be us. It's supposed to be us, replies 13. They stare at the boy, who glances to the side. Apparently, he can see something that they cannot, since he returns his attention back to the center of the dome. Why? I can't explain it, but I just have a bad feeling, like something isn't right. Abruptly, he looks towards his homeroom teacher and, with chills running down his spine at the sudden revelation, and in a grave voice, he says, "We're not alone." That turns their blood cold. Aizawa turns to the space hero. Group together and go back to the bus. Now. 13 take the students out of here. The chain of events that follows is instantaneous. Once the group of people are revealed and the leader announces that they're there to kill All Might, Aizawa is already putting on his goggles and making his way to the group of villains. Realizing that the symbol of peace isn't here, they turn towards killing his reputation instead, along with the fellow occupants. As soon as he's done speaking, a black mist wraps around the students, and soon enough some of them are gone. No. 13 yells as Eraserhead growls. He glances back and yells 13 to get the remaining students out of the dome. He rushes forward and starts battling the villains. He cannot let them harm his students. Honestly, if All Might hadn't used up his 3-hour limit, then he wouldn't be having too much trouble. The villains think they can kill him, that is why they are here. And because he isn't here, they will go after the students, which would hurt him. That idiot better get here fast. Meanwhile, in the shipwreck zone, Midoriya is really fortunate with the fact his glasses haven't fallen off. He looks around, but he's underwater, his need for oxygen is coming rapidly. Then comes the villain. Damn it. I can't fight underwater, my movements will be slow, and I can already feel my lungs screaming for air. Before the villain can get any closer, a tongue wraps around his midsection, and he's yanked out of the water. Suyu is explaining something. Something he doesn't pay attention to as he cleans the lenses while his green gaze never leaves the water. His skin prickles at the sudden sensation of a chill in the air. Turning to his classmates, he finds shadows clinging onto him. No. He turns around and scans the other people. A few shadows dot here and there. That means if we don't get help soon, some of my classmates will die. Death stands at the far side of it all, his cloak bellowing all around in non-existent wind, while he watches them fight for their lives. He turns his attention towards his champion. The once blind boy, who could have only seen the beings outside of the real world, is standing with two of his classmates. The glimmer in those eyes shows the intelligence, shows that the kid has figured it out. A once-over of the place and his gaze lands on him. No, he mouths, then he turns to his other two companions. Such a hero. With his sunglasses back on his face, he speaks with the two he speaks with Tsuyu, since Mineta is freaking out and waving his arms around, crying puddles. Tsuyu seems to have realized something, and when she explains it, the picture becomes clear. If the villains only knew what the schedule was, that meant they made a mistake. So they don't know what our quirks are. That's good. It's better than good. He quickly looks around and hums. They need to get out of there before something worse happens. What all can you two do? He listens carefully, nodding reluctantly when he listens to Mineta. Okay, so Tsu. He blinks when Mineta cries, saying something about his quirk. Izuku lets him rant while ignoring him and continuing on. How far can you jump? Soon, they're going through the plan. Midoriya jumps from the sinking ship and uses one for all to create a whirlpool in the pool. Sacrificing a finger is good enough for Midoriya. As long as they get out of there, everything will be fine. Tsuyu comes through and makes the jump. After grabbing Midoriya, the girl yells, Mineta, throw those into the water now. A fine trapping system. How did he not think of that? He smiles, glad that Tsuyu thought of it. Because they don't know our quirks, they set themselves up for failure. Always know what you're dealing with before you go into a battle. Eraserhead gets close to the leader. For a few minutes, they fight, but the villain seems to have figured out how Eraserhead's quirk works, for, by the time his hair falls onto his shoulders, the villain uses that moment to use his quirk on him. He wraps all 5 fingers on his elbow. The pain that comes forth brings out a growl from the pro-hero. His elbow is crumbling under the grasp of the villain. He forcibly pulls away, kicking the villain, and returns to fight other villains. The monster is suddenly beside the teacher, and soon the goggles are flung off along with blood. The sickening sounds of bones breaking, grunts of pain, and laughter from the head villain, it all draws the attention of one particular trio. They freeze in their tracks, staring with wide eyes at the scene. Sensei, cries Midoriya, telling the other two to wait there, and grabs his side. He knows he shouldn't, but he needs to help. He can't let him die. During one fight, the sunglasses are knocked off, and he sees the dark shadow hanging over his teacher. No. I'm not letting him die. He knocks out many of the villains, swinging the scythe in a deadly arc. By accident, he's angry, but even then he wouldn't make a stupid mistake. He cuts off the arm of the Nomu that holds his teacher down. He watches with eyebrows raised and lips parted as the arm regrows. Regeneration quirk. Reacting as quickly as he can, he cuts off the hand that heads towards him. He jumps away and looks around, trying to find a way to get them out of there. Midoriya. Aizawa grunts when he sees his students fighting the monster that basically pummeled him. He'll never admit it out loud. The Nomu leads the unknowing boy towards the leader, who has one other criminal to help take care of him. The kid stops and stares at the leader, Shigaraki, who must have said something to him. He is in danger and is looking so done with life. He better not make his situation worse. He's such a problem child. Before he can react, Aizawa is on the ground once more. The black spots in his vision grow and overtake it. I needs to get them safe. He lets out a small groan and falls limp. Tsuyu and Mineta watched when Midoriya stopped fighting and started speaking to the villain. They watched as the monster went right back to Aizawa-sensei. They watched and saw a small window of opportunity to grab their teacher and start running. The purple grape uses one of the balls to keep the monster at bay, long enough to take their teacher. What about Midoriya? Asks Tsuyu. He'll be fine. We need to get sensei help. Mineta shouts, mostly wanting to save his own skin. Tsuyu knows this, but he's right, yet that doesn't mean she's okay with it. The pale blue-haired male who proclaimed their plans looms over the hero in training, glaring with intense hatred. Those green eyes filled with disbelief never leaves his form, and it makes him want to strangle him, seeing that he doesn't seem to even cower in fear. If I don't cower in fear in front of the real death, then why would you be special? That's what he said when he told him to fear the fact that he can kill him. That bastard. After revealing the fact that he questions them and does not believe that they can kill the #1 hero, Shigaraki has been itching to hurt the brat. What? You don't think we can? No, not really. You see, he's not scheduled to die anytime soon, so you're kind of wasting your time here. He shrugs, tightening his grip on his scythe as he twirls it in his hand. He moves into a defensive position, trying to come up with a plan to get out of there. I mean, not wasting my time because hey, now that you're here, I can ask you something. This earns him a growl from the head of the villains. It seems you won't last any longer, so ask your question. Shigaraki, hisses the warp gate guy, who overheard. The response to it is a small, enough kurigiri. Izuku blinks at this, accidentally dropping his stance. He can't help but find that surprising, yet amusing all at the same time. One of the villains takes this opportunity to knock the weapon out of the kid's hands, and grabbing his arms. Damn it. He hisses under his breath as he watches the hand guy move to grab the side. So the normal living can't touch the weapon. That's a good thing, it just means that they can't turn my weapon against me. Izuku watches the guy scream frustration and attempt to kick the weapon as he turns towards the brat that revealed them to the heroes. Great. But I still have that question, so who is the Crimson Artist? Never heard of them and you just wasted your breath on a pathetic question. I don't think I did, you helped narrow things down for me. To hear you don't know one of the most famous serial killers, says something about you and them. You care more about wanting to defeat heroes, but you have no clue how much danger you can be in if you misstep around a few parts in this city. He tilts his head to the side, his hands itching to attack his captor. Not yet. Maybe if I get them talking long enough I can stall them until the heroes come. It's amusing, thinking that you a villain thinks that he is safe. No matter who you are, what you are in life, death does not care. Death will take us no matter what. That is what makes death so cruel. You think you can kill All Might. Newsflash, death has no interest to capture his soul just yet. His lips stretch as he looks at him. Eyes wide and full of an emotion that can be seen as amusement. But on the matter of you thinking you can kill All Might, how do you plan on doing that? I can already tell that you're too weak. No weak person can kill someone with such power. Sure, you can ruin his reputation, after all, when he wasn't in his assigned position, villains attacked his students. How do you think that'll blow over in the media? Something like this, however small, can lead to people questioning how much this school and the faculty care about their students. This attack is enough to ruin All Might's and the school's reputation alone. So tell me, what do you plan on doing to physically kill him? Red eyes narrow, glaring at the boy in front of them. He reaches out, placing a hand on the boy's cheek, one finger up. I don't think you're in any position to ask such things from me. He laughs. The utter insanity that he showed his classmates during that exercise is back. It is something unexpected which causes Midoriya to watch with amusement, as the villain withdraws his hand away in surprise, almost like he burned him. Behind the hand that covers his face, the villain, now known as Shigaraki, courtesy of the warped kurigiri, frowns, staring at the hero in training. Izuku drops his head, letting his chin touch his chest. The cruel smirk that he wears is something that the leader is so used to seeing on villains, on people with minds that have gone away into a land that no one can ever see. Unknowingly petrified, Shigaraki can't see the glare through the curtain of bangs. Those green eyes that he previously saw are gone and have changed to purple with golden specks surrounding the pupil. The amusement had dulled to complete and utter hostility with a hint of smugness. It doesn't matter what position I'm in, death is always on my side. What is this feeling? Why can't I move? What is he doing to me? Shigaraki stares wide-eyed as he feels the atmosphere drop in temperature. The feeling of death staring down at him, breathing down his neck, it hurts. He can hear things that never were there before, voices that are familiar but he can't place. The boy is smiling widely, almost fond at the fact that he is able to bring such expressions onto the faces of villains. He gets out of his captor's grasp, who can't even move, frozen in his spot and staring at the teenager who can cause such a reaction. They watch in bewilderment as he raises a clawed finger up to his left eye, and shoves it into the socket, shredding the eyeball with glee. One of the villains passes out at the sight, another gags and vomits once he yanks his hand away, revealing a mutilated eye as he never once looks away from Shigaraki, who doesn't know how to react. He just gouged out his own eye. What type of hero hurts themselves in such a gruesome way? I've seen terrible things, done terrible things, yet why do I have the need to flee? This kid, there's nothing normal about him. There's something not right. Even Kurogiri, who was spectating from afar, isn't moving. Many of my minions are in too much of a shock or unconscious to even react. Purple mist spills out of the socket, blood trailing down his cheek after it. He hums a chilling tune under his breath as he grins at the remaining villains. I don't normally do this, but you're in a special predicament. He tilts his head to the left, letting the blood and the mist take the form of a dual-colored waterfall. You surely should do your homework before rushing into a battle. Study before you act. Quite sad that you resorted to this. It would have gone better if you waited until you knew of our quirks. Underestimate your opponent and you ensure your defeat. The villains around him either drop like flies, unconscious sadly, or stop breathing once they start seeing corpse ghouls around them. One going as far as muttering, "What the hell?" Rotten flesh falling to the ground, a few heads or limbs missing, intestines spilling out. A few eyeballs are popped out of sockets and hang by the nerve, swinging or resting on their cheek. Signs of mutilation and torture are seen on some others. Maggots crawl all over them. There are signs of hair having fallen out, patches of skin removed to show skull or even a hint of brains underneath. If one can think of a zombie at the description, they're wrong. Decaying bodies of actual dead people. Those who have gone through hell in their lives that now walk beside the living. The ones that want justice for what had happened to them. The worst of it all, the stench of death is harsh and fills the air. The dead walk amongst them, yet the living have no clue. They can't touch them, but even so, it's enough to have a few throw up or even pass out from the sight. Death isn't all that happy with you lot. His voice changes, raspy and old. Shigaraki's attention is brought back to the teenager in front of him. Insanity in his eye as the injured one slowly heals and the blood stops trickling. You've all killed, haven't you? Now, your victims surround you and want to show you hell itself. A low chuckle rips through the air between them. I'm tempted to let them, but I'm not allowed to. I can, but I wonder how you'll fare when. It's going to be alright, for I am here. Izuku blinks almost as if he's coming out of a trance and covers his eye. The mist is gone and so are the ghouls, at least they're gone to the normal eye of the other humans. The scythe is back in his grasp just as All Might grabs him. He places him down and stares at the curly hair of the boy. His head is bowed and is staring at the ground. Young Midoriya, are you alright? Ah. Yes, I'm fine, All Might. Just a few scratches and a broken finger. He needs to warn him. Yes, he won't die today, but it's still best that he warns him. Wait. All Might, they have this thing. You need to. It'll be alright, young Midoriya. Everything will be fine. He leaves before Izuku can say anything. You made a mistake in attacking my students. I'll show you what happens when you mess with me. The fight is raging. Concern for his mentor is enough to keep him at bay, staying right where he was left. Midoriya stands a good distance away from them, away from his classmates and away from the villains and his mentor. They're too busy with their own things, so they're too busy to notice him. Taking this opportunity, he takes a small breath. Death. Midoriya whispers as he glances off to the side. He is worried and it shows on his face as he puts on the glasses that the Grim Reaper handed him. Be careful. Everything will. Alright. What happened? I blacked out after I laughed. Nothing to worry. Death may or may not have taken over his champion's body, and it's best that he doesn't know that. No need to scare the young boy any more than he needs to be at the moment. Death is caring, but death is also greedy. That is how they are seen. This boy was given to them by fate and life. They shall not let the two down by corrupting him. Death will not make the same mistake as they did 15 years ago. They will shield him the best they can. Death places a bony finger to the side of Midoriya's temple, and helps his eye heal a little faster. After that, Izuku searches for his mentor who now is fighting the Nomu with the help of Todoroki, Bakugo, and Kirishima. Todoroki had frozen its arm from where it held All Might, and when Kurogiri closed the warp, it cut it off. Regeneration quirk. Nullification quirk. Jesus fucking Christ, this thing is essentially designed to defeat All Might. Punch after punch, it slowly starts to affect the monster, and finally, he is able to punch it into oblivion. By the time Midoriya gets there, Shigaraki is throwing a fit at the same time as the heroes in training surround him. Izuku is tired of this villain. He is done with him and so, he licks his chapped lips with a small, soft hum. Bakugo, who is beside him, glances towards the shitty nerd. If what he learned from that exercise, he knows what the humming means. He knows and is grinning. He won't admit it, but he can't wait for Izuku to scare the shit out of this guy. He stands at the ready once his childhood shadow starts speaking. You do remember what I told you, right, Shigaraki? You only wasted your time here. Then, that fucking grin returns as his grip on the scythe tightens. This earns a few looks from the few who are there. Everything would have been better if you did your homework, but no, you're a child. You think everything will go your own way, but here's the harsh reality, nothing will be handed to you. And I will gladly watch as your world of ignorance burns to ashes, collapsing around you. He stares down the villain, who screams in frustration, that's moving forward with a hand out and reaching towards the hero. Noticing it, Midoriya uses one for all to propel him forward to stop it. He never makes it, for he tumbles to the ground when a gunshot rings through the air and blood splatters his face. The villain's hand has been shot, followed by 3 more places before the remaining villains make their escape with their injured leader. Dang it, if only I was faster. 2 broken legs, needs to work on his quirk, a few scratches here and there, and a broken finger. That's all the injuries he has by the time everything is over. His eye is now fully healed, but the dried blood brings on concern to a few of the officials that are there, and he's asked to remove his sunglasses. The villains that are still awake are being rounded up and are arrested. Some of them muttering, eyes wide as they stare at things no one can see. No one but the person who forced it upon them. They'll stop seeing it soon. I'm surprised that it didn't affect Shigaraki as much. Other than his 2 teachers and himself, no one else is injured. That's all good. While he is on the ambulance being checked over by a paramedic, he's approached by none other than Detective Tsukauchi. Hello, the older man greets. He nods and thanks the paramedic for her help, while asking if they can have a minute alone. Hey, it's been a while. Yes, it has. Have you spoken to anyone lately? Other than my classmates and teachers, no. Are you worried about the unsub? His lips are set to a grim line, showing how he's feeling. Yes. Your interaction with the unsub will be crucial, since it'll spark the new murders. Detective, I spoke to the villain, Shigaraki. I asked him if he knew anyone by the name of Crimson Artist, and he seemed to be telling the truth when he said no. He never heard of them, even though their name has been on the news. I have a feeling that they keep themselves hidden from other villains as well as to the heroes and civilians if they can avoid it. He nods. He updates him on his teacher's conditions and tells him to rest. He'll need his energy for the next morning. Wait. Shigaraki, he seems to have a child mindset yet at the same time proves to have some intelligence. Midoriya. It's fine. You should leave that to me. I want you to rest, okay? It's been a long day. Later that night, Izuku is with his friends at home. They're having fun, joking and doing the normal good teenager stuff when all of a sudden Izuku freezes in his spot at the abrupt sound of knocking that resonates through his home. He's tense despite the fact that if anything happens, he has a few friends to back him up. His friends frown when they notice his reaction. Painstakingly, he walks forward when he hears the sound of calm footsteps fade away. What? Upon opening the door, he finds a box on the floor. I wasn't expecting any deliveries. Is something wrong? Uraraka's tone holds worry and confusion, glancing at the box in her friend's hands. She can tell something is not right, especially with the way he cradles the object with the utmost care and the furrowing of the eyebrows. Get me the plastic gloves in the right-hand drawer in the kitchen and the box cutter. As soon as he has them, he puts them on and slowly opens the box, being careful not to jostle it. Holy crap, he whispers with wide eyes. Ida, get my phone and call Detective Tsukauchi. His number is saved. You two stay away. Call him now, please. His eyes never leave the contents, revolted with what's inside. He brings the box to the kitchen and takes one glove off. He presses his hand to his head as he closes his eyes. He's on his way. Midoriya, what's... Ida's question dies in his throat, face paling drastically once he catches sight of what's in the box. A ruby ring around his sole finger. They don't speak to each other for the rest of that night, and Ida doesn't try to make an effort to contact him, because he knows to leave his friend be for a while. Uraraka never found out what was in the box because Ida had escorted her out once the detective showed up and told him they'll see each other at school. Ida couldn't sleep that night. The images of that finger plagues his mind. Why would anyone send that to his friend? Just how sick can someone be that they would cut someone's finger off and send it to a 15-year-old? It's revolting. The next morning, Midoriya is the last one to arrive and gives a half-hearted apology, barely blinking when he sees their hurt teacher as he makes his way to his desk. Bags under his eyes are hidden a bit behind those sunglasses he always wears. Now that everyone is here, the sports festival is coming up. The teacher's words fade away into white noise as Ida glances over at his friend. He's tired, that much he can tell. He doesn't blame him. After what happened, that's not something anyone can sleep through. Sir? Is it alright for UA to host the sports festival after? Yes. The tired response draws attention to the green-haired boy. His head is resting on his arms, and his eyes are closed. He knows they're staring at him, but he can barely even bring himself to care about it. It's perfectly alright. It all has to do with UA's reputation. This can show people that albeit the villain attack, UA is strong. Exactly. Aizawa-sensei goes on a little longer before telling them they have a few minutes left of homeroom. In that time, Izuku receives a message. He pulls out his phone and opens it to see that they had been able to identify who the finger belongs to. Amanda Sterling, an American tourist. He thanks him and turns off his phone just to keep from getting into trouble. After modern literature, the trio of friends are heading to lunch. They talk a little about Uraraka's reason to become a hero and comfort her by telling her that it's a good reason, no need to feel inferior to anyone else for what their goals are. Pissed, young Midoriya. They turn to the source of the voice and find their teacher All Might holding a box lunch. Want to have lunch? This confuses his friends, but he knows there's a reason for it. He smiles and nods, telling his friends he'll see them later. That is weird. It kind of makes you wonder if they're related. Iida glances over and hums. Yes, but I'm pretty sure it's not that. It probably has to do with what Midoriya received the other day. The box that he didn't want us to see. Yes. I have a feeling Midoriya is being personally targeted by a villain. That makes her worry increase tenfold, but Midoriya will tell them, right? As they're in lunch, they speak a little more about why anyone would target Midoriya. What was in the box? Iida presses his lips to a thin line. His eyelids hide his eyes. He is having a mental battle, wondering if he should say. It was revolting, utterly atrocious. He looks away. A finger. That earns a small gasp from the girl. And a note, but Midoriya didn't tell me what it said. Unaware of being watched, Iida looks at Uraraka. It's best not to bring it up. Midoriya has a lot on his plate. Hopefully, the heroes and police can get to the bottom of it. Iida sighs and fixes his bifocals. Maybe that's what All Might is talking to Midoriya about. All Might? Midoriya Izuku, thinks Todoroki. He watches the green-haired teen's friends change the subject. He's being targeted by a villain. Meanwhile, with Toshinori and Izuku, they're talking about the sports festival, and Izuku realizes that Toshinori has no clue about the package he received. Good. He doesn't need him to worry when he already has enough on his plate. Hard to keep everything organized when your life is in chaos. That is something else that the younger learned at an earlier age. He will have to redo a plan and keep up with believable lies or half-truths. This is just getting extremely ridiculous. Wait, what? His train of thought freezes. You want me to what? Are you sure? Yes. This is the chance for you to announce to the world. You will be the next symbol of peace. Toshinori smiles gently at him. And, if you can, try not to use your side, okay? Midoriya gawks at his mentor. How can he have such high expectations? Not even death has them. Then again, the being seems to always keep them to themselves, hiding behind a veil of isolation. The boy nods with determination in his eyes. I'll do my best, he says. His phone vibrates with a message and he looks down at it, expecting it to be Tsukauchi. His heart calms down seeing that his mom messaged him. She's staying late at her work. After their small meeting, All Might watches his successor walk away. I wish you the best of luck, young Midoriya. Before the time to leave school, new messages comes onto Midoriya's phone. Why was his day full of messages? This never happened before. He sighs and pulls his phone out. Upon opening the messages, he drops his phone in horror. He's seen things no one his age should ever see, but that photo was not anything he ever saw before. The clattering sound of his phone draws more attention to him. He gives them a shaky smile and snatches his phone off the floor before Mineta can grab it. That snake. He quickly sends a message to the detective and informs him of what he received. This is getting ridiculous. It's not how. How did they even get my number? While many people turn away, a few continue to stare at him. One being a silent holder of a dual-element quirk. Dual eyes watch the other, a frown painting his features. What type of reaction is that? What did he receive? No, it doesn't matter. You have to get through this year without distractions. Yet, after what Iida said during lunch, that is really concerning. Midoriya, are you alright? Iida asks quietly, leaning close to his friend as he texts frantically. He's worried for his friend, but he doesn't seem to even try to reach out for help. He can't help but wonder why that is. I'm fine. Don't worry. Midoriya. I was there the other day, so don't you hide this. It's not something you need to know. So please, just drop it. The end of school comes and as they're heading out, they're blocked by a mass of people. During the entire time, Bakugo is making the entire situation worse than he needs to, but that's just him and his charming personality. One student in particular stood out to Izuku. He recognizes the purple hair, the bags under his eyes. The one who he helped not too long ago, the one who was on the edge of falling into death's arms. The mystery boy who looks so done with life is there, proclaiming an act of war or something. For a split second their eyes meet, and then he's gone. Out of my way, extras. You can't call people extras just because you don't like them. Midoriya smiles and shakes his head at his friend's actions, and watches the blonde walk away. He sighs and adjusting his spectacles, excusing himself as he makes his way through the crowd. He keeps his gaze on the ground as he murmurs apologies on his way through the sea of people. Hey, isn't he the one who used a scythe during the entrance exams? Someone whispers softly. There are a few more people who murmur about him and his preferred use of a weapon such as that one. He rolls his eyes and thinks to himself, death has patience, I do not. I need to learn, but I don't want to. He stumbles slightly at the front gate. The world tilts a bit and suddenly he's grabbed, steadied by his friend. I'm fine, Iida. Thanks. You're worrying me, Midoriya. I'm not targeted by a villain, if that's what you think. He takes his glasses off, staring at the ground. Where's Uraraka? She's with Tsu. They're planning on getting something to eat. A small silence hangs in the air as they walk to the train station. You asked me if I'm alright earlier. I lied. I'm not okay. I'm not being targeted by villains, but a serial killer. I was helping with a murder case, and soon the trail went cold. His voice is shaky and grim, hand clenching tightly. I received a letter and the killer. He pauses to swallow thickly before continuing. The killer said that when we meet, the killings will start again. They went from torturing their victims for fun to just doing it to spite me. If we meet again, I'll be held responsible for their deaths. No, you won't. Midoriya, what criminals like that do, their actions are on their own head. You aren't responsible. You help because you're asked to. Everything will be fine. The Crimson Murders, surely you've heard of them. Yes. I have. What about them? Iida watches as his friend pushes his hair back. I was helping with that case. He can't help but stop in his tracks. It's a gruesome case. That's right. He heard from his brother who's helping as well. The Crimson Murders have been named one of the most gruesome murders of this decade. The news barely even skimmed the surface. He has seen one of the pictures on his brother's laptop. He almost threw up at the sight. How can a human do that to another? Did you receive anything else today? Pictures. The new victim is there's a new victim, and I'm watching their progress as they slowly die, and then I can't do anything. The people they pass look at the kid when he shouted, not knowing what the whole conversation is about. The look of fear and defeat is enough to know not to get into it, yet they feel somewhat concerned. Iida ruffles his hair. He feels bad for his friend. He's too nice and he gets the short end of the stick, having to deal with this mess. He sighs. Everything will work out. Midoriya, you are only a teenager. Will you help the professionals? You are not entitled to do an adult's work. Things will pull through. For now, you should focus more on your studies and on the sports festival. He hesitates for a second before nodding. Yes, you're right. He sighs and thanks him with a smile. His mind is on the note. Tick-tock, your time is running out. One day soon we will meet, and you will be responsible for their deaths. I'll continue sending you gifts. Let's see just how long it'll take for you to stop me. Until then, take care. The sports festival is the next week. They have to train and as always training is intense. On top of that, Midoriya goes to his taekwondo classes and trains on his own time, sometimes with Toshinori if he can. Alongside that, he researches and helps the police with clues that he notices in the pictures of the recently being tortured victim. He worked on the case until he was told to stand down. He shall not work on it any more than what he already has until the killings start again. That didn't blow over well with him, which led to yelling, and a few things thrown before he shed a few tears by the time Tsukauchi finally managed to calm him down. If anything happens, if he receives anything, he is to tell them. Until then, nothing has happened. The trail went cold again. It frustrated him to no end, but he cannot go against his orders, otherwise he will be pulled from it, and will be monitored to make sure he does not goes against it. Izuku is mentally and physically exhausted. He's so exhausted, he can't sleep. The following day will be the sports festival, and he has worn his body and mind out. His brain activity is high and he is lying awake, staring at the ceiling. Because of this, he is left speaking with Beetle, the human ghoul that loves to prank him. Surprisingly, the Joker has yet to try and do anything to him in any harmful way. When asked, he responds with "You're a better conversationalist than the corpses." Admitted, "You actually like me," he jokes with a soft, tired chuckle. "I tolerate you. There's a difference." Midoriya smiles as his eyes slowly close, feeling his lips tremble as a yawn passes through them. "Get some sleep. You have a big day tomorrow." Everything falls away to darkness. He drowns in the dark waters of sleep. Soon enough, his dreams are plagued with blurred torture. While he sleeps, Beetle hums and goes through his things. Snooping around, he finds the research and frowns. What is he doing with this crimson murder case? His curiosity is piqued, and soon enough, he's reading through the entire case notes. This kid shouldn't be a hero, he should be a private investigator. Kid will do a lot more than most of the police. He hums and adds jot notes on a post-it note for Izuku to read the next morning, drawing a small emoticon. The next morning, Beetle wakes up the kid and gets him going. Hurry. It's a big day for you, dude. Midoriya groans as he rises out of bed and starts getting ready for school. He bids farewell to his mom after telling her about the ghoul. I'll be safe, Mom. I love you. He laughs and quickly makes his way to the train station. Have you shadow traveled before? No. He doesn't like that grin. He doesn't even get much of a chance to speak, and is soon being dragged through the shadows of an alleyway. Everything is bathed black. He hears a few moans of misery, as his bare skin is bitten by the chill of darkness. Fortunately, Beetle has a hand on his arm to keep him from fading away and losing himself. They enter the classroom. Izuku jumps and lets out a small mouse-like squeak when he realizes that there is someone else in the room. Upon further inspection, he realizes that the only one who's there is Aizawa-sensei. He sighs in relief, running a hand through his hair, pushing it back. A blush covers his cheeks, for he realizes that he must have heard the shriek that came from his mouth. Oh, good, it's only you, sensei. I'm not even going to ask why you just came out of a shadow. A pause. Or what that noise that passed your lips was. Izuku smiles brightly and nods, laughing softly as he makes his way to the desk. He's flustered that he pointed it out, fixing his sunglasses. So, will you tell me about the crimson murder case? I received a message from Detective Tsukauchi. I know what's going on. Eraserhead moves a bandaged hand up to scratch his nose. Midoriya, let me ask you a question. Do you trust me? Hoo-ha. Yes. I do. He curses himself for stuttering, especially with the look that he is sure Aizawa-sensei is giving him. What brought on that question? Okay, do you trust me because I'm a teacher or pro hero? He hesitates, looking anywhere but at his teacher. Seriously, where is all of this coming from? It's scaring me. He doesn't need to know, but I'm sure he won't drop it. He sighs softly, running a hand through his curly hair and gently pulling on a piece. I trust you as a pro hero and a teacher. Midoriya. That is not the truth. Curse him and his perceptiveness. He sighs again. As a pro hero. Do you? Sensei, please, what does this have to do with the crimson murders? He changed the topic. Something is going on with him. He doesn't like being questioned like this. He chose pro hero and not a teacher. That has to do something with his past. Kid, I'm trying to help. So tell me, do you trust us as teachers? No? I'm sorry, but I don't. Shota nods, having expected the answer. He sighs and moves to sit in front of him. Why? Well, what? Why don't you trust us as teachers? You trust us in the sake of pro heroes, but not as teachers. Are we bad at teaching? No? That's not where are you going with this. You're all excellent at teaching, but... He trails off, reeling in the tears that sting his eyes and calming his breathing down. But you don't want us to know about your troubles. You hold things in and don't come to us when we're here to help. Because I don't need it. That shout causes his teacher to draw back a bit. He looks at his student through the bandages and notices the anxiousness on his face. You don't need to help me. I'm fine. I don't need your help with things. If I need to go to you for a problem, it'll be because of school, not my personal life. You all have more students to deal with than just me. He falls into a small ramble, when that's hard to hear with how faint his voice is. Midoriya, his stern voice draws a small flinch. He seems to be expecting for something to come of it, and the small inkling idea of what that is, doesn't suit well with the weakened teacher. I don't know how it was at your old school, but the teachers here are pro heroes. We help people, and even more we help our students. We can help you, but we can't do that if you don't tell us the problem. Just because we have other students does not mean you can set yourself aside for their needs when you have them too. You don't have to come to me, but if you can go to Recovery Girl or even to All Might. Principal Netsu can help as well. Midoriya stares at him, bottom lip trembling as he holds back tears. I know. God, I know, but I can't. The person I want the least to know about anything is All Might. Recovery Girl has her plate full with me being prone to injury, and Principal Netsu, I'm not even sure how that conversation will go. He rubs his earlobe, pulling on it slightly. I know you can help me with any problems, but I can't bring myself to reach out. Of course. I'll try to tell you, but He trails off when he notices Beetle pointing at the door. Never mind. We should get ready for the festival. The door opens and Iida comes in, pausing for a second. He asks if he's interrupting something important. No, not really. Just talking about the festival. I'm not going to be using my scythe for it. Why? He shrugs, looking out the window. He purposely stops paying attention to Aizawa-sensei, hoping to get away from that conversation. I'd rather not terrify the audience. Yes, that'll be a good thing. But honestly, you're not that scary. Well, I feel offended. They share small smiles and fall into a small conversation while waiting for everyone else. When Raraka and Tsuyu come in, Midoriya takes the chance to wish them luck. No? Don't do that, yells Kaminari, who overheard. Midoriya, you wishing people good luck is wishing them bad luck. Excuse you? Oh shit. Coughs Kirishima. I'm joking, he says, melting under that withering look. His lips are in a thin line, but he can just feel the death glare. I'm sorry. I was joking. I promise. You can be so evil sometimes, it's so manly. Kirishima laughs, smiling at the green-eyed teen. I can't wait for it. I wonder who's gonna win. It'll obviously be me, proclaims Bakugo. Arrogance rolls off his figure in waves as he struts into the room. He sneers at them and glares harshly at Deku, who tenses and quickly looks away. No matter how many times he wants to put the other in his place, he can't. He can't, and it pisses him off. All he wants is to stand up to him like he did during the training, like he did to that villain. He sees the dead every day, yet he can't face the living. Ha. That's just laughable. Alright, announces Aizawa when everyone is in their seats. Get in your PE clothes and put on a good show. They're in the waiting room, chilling and talking when Todoroki comes strolling up and calling Midoriya out. Why would anyone like him confront a guy like me? On an objective basis, I think I'm above you in terms of practical strength. Huh. Is he delusional? Why is he doing this? Does he see me as a threat, or what is his reasoning behind this? I mean, oh wait, he's talking. His eyes does not leave the successor of All Might, narrowed, and hold a certain emotion. Something that Izuku cannot read himself, seeing that he's masking it behind a facade of nonchalance, expressionless. You've got All Might's eyes on you. I'm not going to pry into that, but I'm going to beat you. Kaminari is smirking, finding this hilarious. It fills his need for drama, his entertainment. He can't help but wonder just what the young Izuku Midoriya will say in response to this. But first he's going to add fuel to the fire. Oh ho. What is this? A declaration of war from the strongest kid in the class. Kirishima is the opposite, taking a step forward and getting in front of him. He doesn't understand where any of this is coming from. What will he gain from this? He can't see a reason why one would just show up and challenge Midoriya. That's unless he sees him as a threat. He could have gone to Bakugo, after all. Those two are more like rivals since they're the two top students, so there must be something else. Something that deals with personal matters. What's with the belligerence all of a sudden? Don't spring this upon him before. I'm not here to play nice and make friends. But whatever. The cold look in his eyes has them back up, but Izuku lets out a small scoff. He's annoyed, his time is being wasted. Is Bakugo not enough? Does he really have to be outed by the most powerful students in their class? They watch as he nods, removing his sunglasses, but keeps his eyes closed. He rubs his eyelids with a very wide and very amused smile on his face about the whole thing. There's also an underlying tiredness in the smile, but only a few see it. What's so amusing? They all stare at the jaded eyes that some of them have never seen before with uncertainty, confusion. What exactly does one think when someone is responding to a declaration of war with a look like that? You. I find you amusing. He raises his voice with a tone of amusement. One of the strongest kids in class declares that he will beat the most useless kid in class. If I didn't know any better, you're doing this so that you can prove yourself. Show someone that you can surpass someone that has something to do with All Might. Have you ever thought that there may be something else to it? Of course not, otherwise you wouldn't be here proclaiming such a childish thing. If you want to challenge me, I suggest you do it because of something else. Not because of my so-called relation to All Might. It's quiet now. Everyone is staring at him. Todoroki had no change in his expression, but his eyes glimmer with anger and slight surprise. So, listen and listen close. If you want to beat me, don't half-ass it. Once he walks away, purposely bumping their shoulders. Someone, it's Kaminari, softly mutters, "Oh shit. Things are going to get real." But going, idiot. You have 2 chances left. Don't make enemies here. Bakugo rolls his eyes at the childish behavior. He's such a psychopath. I will not let that shitty psycho win. I will become number 1. And that is what he pledges to the audience, earning complaints and yells of annoyance from them and his peers. As he passes Deku, he sees the annoyance and anger set on his face. He's wearing those stupid sunglasses again. He doesn't get why the teachers even allow it. It's clear that his eyes aren't sensitive. People seem to forget that he has known the run for so long. He knows that he's lying and that his mom is lying for him, but for what? He doesn't have a quirk, so why does he wear sunglasses? He's lied to him about having a quirk. He has that super strength and speed. The first event will be midnight trails off until the board shows. Obstacle course. You're getting attached again, Death. I know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I can see his future. He's the one you can attach yourself to. You said that about her. Silence falls onto both beings. One of the men has healthy tanned skin, wrinkled and calloused hands. His eyes are curved, almost round-shaped. Jade-colored eyes that are the exact same as his champion. The other man has healthy dark skin, his hands covered in calluses and a few scars here and there. Amber eyes is set deep into almond-shaped eyes are outlined with thick lashes. Remorse is set in those amber eyes, gripping the railing in front of them tightly. Yes, says Fate. I made a mistake. I hadn't been able to read her future clearly. I'll admit that it's my fault. If I had read her future better. If you did, he would be another's champion. How can Death be this adorable? Their speech is like that of a kid learning new words, sounding out each syllable, yet they have been here since the beginning of time. It's adorable how they speak. Fate stops his thoughts. Oh no. I'm sounding like coincidence. Oh, the horror. Do you think I did good? Maybe he is better. Someone else. Death. It's fine. You have helped him. I honestly cannot see him being another's champion. Maybe one day he'll meet mine, help my champion with the world around him. Death nods and sighs. Will Izuku win? He'll get close. He'll win the first challenge, but the way he does is amazing. Who wins? Fate smiles, glancing at his longtime friend. You'll see. Pomeranian. What? Pomeranian. The confusion on his face says enough. What is he talking about? Fate doesn't know whether to be amused or worried. Just where has he learned to say things like that? Who are you talking about? Explosive quirk. Holy shit. Is he talking about who I think it is? You mean the angry blonde that hates Izuku? Yes. Fate has died. He has been taken by Death to the afterlife. His headstone shall read. Here lies the being, Fate. He shall be remembered as the most handsome being. Died by laughing at Death's unknown sense of humor. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey today. I hope you enjoyed exploring the fascinating what-if scenario of Deku. The possibilities were truly mind-blowing. If you found this video entertaining, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to me and inspires me to bring you more captivating content in the future. Stay tuned for more exciting what-if stories and other amazing videos coming your way. Until next time, take care, stay curious.